Hi, I'm Dennis Gage, and welcome to My Classic Car. Well, I'm back out in California with Jay Leno. Jay, how you doing, man?
Good to see you. You know, I put something together here for you. I want to see if you can figure out what these two cars have in common.
Let's see, this one's orange and that one's green, so that's not
true.
it. That's not it.
It's a bit tenuous,
Is
but
it? Four wheels, that's not it either?
no. Both have unorthodox engine positions for their period. The Lamborghini Miura, of course, with the first transverse V12 in the back, and the Tatra V8 air-cooled twin overhead cam, magnesium engine hanging out the back as well.
Wow.
These are both rear-engine cars, although some might argue that's more a mid-engine car. But I think it's safe to say it's a rear-engine car.
Let's start with the Tatra, because these are fascinating cars.
They're fascinating cars.
Czechoslovakian, back when there was a Czechoslovakia, right?
Most people would think the Miura was more fascinating, but this, if you're a real car historian, a guy named Hans Ludwinka, he was a Austrian engineer. He was a contemporary of Ferdinand Porsche. He and Ferdinand Porsche developed the swing axle. In fact, I think he's the only man to sue Porsche successfully and win, because he was quite an engineer. And he went to Czechoslovakia, to the other side of the Tatra Mountains, hence the name. He never spoke Czechoslovakian, but he worked there designing the Tatra car. And the interesting thing about cars from this period, you know, now everybody has the internet, and you have email, and you have all this kind of stuff, but people on different continents really didn't know what people were developing 2,000 miles away on the other side of those mountains. So this car is about as unorthodox as anything American as you could get. I mean, it's a V8 hanging way back over the rear wheels. It's aerodynamic. There aren't many cars that still have a coefficient of drag as low as this one. This thing at 60 miles an hour, take your foot off the gas, you just feel like you're cutting through the wind. So wind noise is kept to a minimum.
Well, 3 headlights.
Yeah.
And even though it's rear engine, you've got some louvers up here. Well,
yeah, I guess that's just to relieve pressure, I suppose. You don't have anything in here other than your gas tank, so that could be venting as well. But the interesting thing is you have a firewall, then you have your luggage compartment, then another firewall, then the engine way back here.
Really?
So consequently, very light steering because all your weight is in the back. They steer.
I mean, is that a problem?
I think a modern car person might find it odd. There's a bit of the tail wagging the dog. So you keep your rear air pressure, much like a Corvair. Air pressure extremely important. I run about 40 pounds in the back. You don't want to lift off in a turn, or else it'll jack up the way a Porsche, early Porsche would do.
Now these things also had kind of they had some World War II history.
Yeah, when the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia, these were commandeered by a lot of the officers. I think 7 of them got killed the first week, so Hitler said, that's it. So these
played a role in winning the war.
Played the role of killing almost more Nazi officers than some of our allies. But that reputation is sort of not well deserved.
And is that really just, again, because they drove so differently and yet were pretty fast?
They are deceptively fast. I mean, compared to modern cars, no. This car was guaranteed to get 20 miles per gallon at 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Which was pretty amazing back in the day for a 3-liter V8. That was pretty good mileage. Extremely comfortable, and because you're so isolated from all the noise and vibration, it's deceptively quick. I mean, nowadays it wouldn't seem fast compared to a modern car, but this is 60, 70 years ago.
Quick, and it looks comfortable too. I mean, it's really
extremely
really
comfortable car,
looking.
very cushy. This car was 1938. I believe that's the original interior, and it's extremely comfortable to drive. As I said, very light front end. In fact, you have your gas tank. I put these on because we forgot to latch the hood once and it flew off on me.
That can't be a good thing.
You run they would put twin spare tires up front just to keep the weight down.
Okay, and then we've got some sort of a cooler here?
Yeah, that's the oil cooler right there. Those lines run all the way to the back. That's your gas tank right there. Brake master cylinder.
But that's all that's up here.
Yeah, this is your oil cooler right here, yeah.
And the interesting stuff is really in the back.
The interesting stuff is in the back, and we'll take a look at that too.
Wow. I mean, what an interesting hood prop too.
Yeah, that's all magnesium.
Man.
Twin cam.
Air-cooled.
Air-cooled. I've got a Weber carburetor on it. I've got the original carburetor, just the Weber works a little nicer.
I like the, you know, the manifold there. I mean, it's you got a little bit of a bundle of snakes
and you have
action there.
Much like a early Volkswagen or Porsche rather, you have twin fans that blow air up through the cylinders. And depending on winter or summer, you can slide these vents and open them to let more air in.
That's incredibly cool.
And it's a wonderful car to drive. And of course, being air-cooled, it can sit for months and months because there's no corrosion or water, you know.
And your rear window looks actually out through.
Yeah, the rear window, you look through there. That's not the best rear window. So you want to have...
That's probably, rear visibility is bad. That's probably the other thing it shares with the Lamborghini.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's very good.
I found it.
Very good. That's the other thing it shares. But it's a 3-liter engine, so it's impressive.
And this runs and drives, and we can take it out.
We will take it out.
Well, let's take this out because I've always wanted to be in one of these. Boom. Coming up, we'll go for a spin in Jay's Tatra. But first, we'll get some insight into the world of reproduction parts in the Autogeek Garage.
My Classic Car is brought to you by Grundy Insurance.
Well, in the garage with me today, I got my good buddy Rick Schmidt from National Parts Depot. Rick, great to see you, man.
Good to see you again, Dennis.
Boy, did you bring some stuff this time.
I brought a ton of stuff to make a point today because today I want to drop a bomb on the most common misconception in our hobby. That would be that all part suppliers buy all their parts from the same places, from the same factories overseas, and it all comes in on the same boat from China, and it doesn't matter who you buy from, just get it from the cheapest place, because the cheapest price is all that matters. That couldn't be anywhere further from the truth. I brought a ton of stuff here to try to prove that point, and even this is just scratching the surface of all the differences that we have to show at NPD.
So there are a lot of differences in these parts, but there's also differences in the consumer need. I mean, some guys want to do a Concours restoration, and some guys want a pretty good-looking daily driver.
That's right.
These two in particular.
Yeah,
just
the 65.6 Mustang console trim plate. Goes around the shifter. The one that's kind of silvery on your right-hand side is correct. The one that is all
this
bright,
one here, yeah.
Yes, and the one that's all bright chrome is not.
Yeah, the textures are completely different. This is really what, and if you're doing a Concours, this is what you're looking for.
Right, and if you really, you know, and you can't tell in a picture or on a video screen, but that's just a nicer piece overall. Quality of plating, tooling, it's a better piece. It's worth the extra little bit of money for that piece.
And then things like, we're still on Stang, so, you know.
68 Deluxe instrument bezel. This wood grain is just basically vinyl shelf paper. It's not even the right color or the correct grain. Over here we've got an upgraded unit that's the wood grain is actually on aluminum backing. It's sturdy. It's got your high beam light indicator in it. Overall, it's a better bezel for just a little bit more money. Do you know which one you're getting when you're just buying on price online and just clicking on a picture? You probably don't.
Well, then, you know, over here you got a couple Camaro taillight panels.
Now here we have two offshore reproductions. Again, people think, it's, you know, it's
Offshore
coming from
offshore.
Taiwan, and offshore is offshore. One is made as a Gage heavier steel on a different tooling, made in a different factory, and is far superior in every little element and detail, from fit, from crispness, and just the straightness of the part. You'll pay a little bit more for one of those taillight panels, but your body guy will charge you a whole lot less money to install it and paint it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk interiors then, because it's a big difference there.
Big difference there. NPD now stocks, not just sells, but actually stocks legendary auto interiors.
Ooh,
it's more money, but you can just see that it's not as one-dimensional and flat as the bargain brand interior that most everybody has in their car these days. I would encourage people to upgrade to the legendary. You can see how all the pleats and just the look of the upholstery is much more factory. The colors are truer to original.
Same with the door panels there.
The assembly is truer to original. It's just a very high-line piece. Upholstery, sheet metal, trim, these moldings. This is, you know, much thicker than this molding. Did you know that Camaros had two different reproductions for windshield moldings?
Holy cow.
We offer them both, you know.
We got 3 light switches there.
3 light switches, a cheap $14 reproduction that feels like it's got full of sand when you turn the rheostat. You can hear it. A $25 reproduction that's actually a very nice piece and we've done very well with. And I've got new old stock Ford available for $40 for people. I've got a stash. I've got the last ones remaining on the planet, I think, that I had built from Ford. It's in a white plastic bag. This is actual Ford tooling
That's the real
headlamp
deal.
switch.
What you do at National Parts Depot is you give people options, and they can make their decisions based on their needs.
Yes, and you can find the best quality stuff at NPD. So you don't want to be shopping on price. You want to be a little bit more sophisticated than that. You need to shop on price and balance that with, do I want a higher quality product? Because if there's higher quality, you're going to find it at NPD.
And if that's what you're looking for, NPD can fix you up.
That's right.
That's right, man. Well, hey, if you want to learn anything more about the differences in the products that are out there, log on to myclassiccar.com. Some of this stuff is just unbelievable, though.
Yeah, the huge differences.
Huge.
Autogeek.net. We are car care.
Next, we're cruising in Jay Leno's 1938 Tatra.
Yeah, I love the instrumentation, and I love the texture of the dash.
The way it turns the other way?
Yeah, a lot of headroom, very comfortable car.
Yeah, and if you need more headroom,
You got a ton of headroom up there.
because being air cooled, you don't have to worry about overheating or anything. Now, it doesn't feel terribly fast, but it does feel modern.
Yeah, and shifts surprisingly smoothly.
Oh yeah, I mean, when this car was built, speed limit was 45 miles an hour.
Did they make, I mean, a lot of these, or were they a low production car even
Well,
in
they
the day?
built quite a few. Not many remain. Don't forget, it was Europe. Cars were commandeered, blown up. We'll pull over here and let Dennis drive.
My turn.
Give Dennis a shot, see how he does. And continue motoring.
Very smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth.
This is like a regular car.
Yeah.
1938.
Yeah. Everybody thinks the Tucker was so revolutionary, but this was a V8 in the back. This is really everything the Tucker was, a headlight in the middle, the whole deal. But see, here in America, we didn't look at the Europeans, they didn't look at us, so we thought we invented it 10 years later when Tucker came out.
Boy, this would be a nice car to go out to dinner in even.
Oh yeah? You actually have dinner in it, actually.
Need parts for your classic? Then check out this week's Classic Car Marketplace.
Need parts for your F-Series truck, Bronco, Classic or Fox Mustang, Camaro, Chevelle El Camino Malibu, or Firebird? Then get your free catalog from NPD, the nation's always in stock restoration parts supplier. Call 888-893-FAST for your free catalog or visit nationalpartsdepot.com. Need modern tunes for your classic ride? Custom Auto Sound's new Concourse series of radios, now featuring iPod and USB flash drive inputs, are made for an OEM fit for your 40s to 80s vehicle. Secret audio for your street rod, customer classic. Ask your restoration or stereo dealer for Custom Auto Sound or call 800-88-TUNES. LMC Truck has the parts and accessories you need to restore, maintain, or customize your truck or SUV. Chevy, GMC, Dodge, and Ford. To get your free catalog, call 1-800-715-8123. Be sure to specify your year, make, and model, or shop online at lmctruck.com. LMC Truck has the right part at the right price right now.
Still ahead, we'll check out Jay's '69 Lamborghini Miura.
Okay, Tatra's very cool.
Right.
That is a nice running, nice riding car.
Right.
Here's our other one with the kind of innovative engine placement.
Right, this has a transverse V12 right behind the driver. There are a lot of rear engine vehicles, but this is the one that really led the way.
I didn't realize it was the first production mid-engine car.
I mean, there were a couple other mid-engine cars. Ferrari had one, the Ford GT, but those weren't. This is the one that really captured the imagination of everybody. A lot of people call this the first supercar. I wouldn't go that far. I'd probably go with the 55 Goldwing as the first supercar. But for the sake of excitement and argument and all that, they kind of think it really started with these.
So what year is this?
This is a 1969. This is a Miura S.
So was this a steel car, or was it?
The doors are aluminum, there's steel in it. What really happened was Lamborghini made this fantastic chassis, and people just went crazy at the auto show. And then Marcello Gandini, he designed the body for this. In fact, he's been to the garage. In fact, if you look on the wall over here, come over here, you guys, I'll show you a little. Now there's Valentino Balboni. He's the famous test driver for Lamborghini. He tested almost all Lamborghinis from the first one, but until recently when he retired. There's Marcello Gandini. He's been here at the garage. He designed the car. That's Walter de Silva. He designed the new modern Miura, which never went into production. Let's take a look under the hood, and you look at the packaging. You'll see why you could never build a car like this today, because there is no crash protection. There's no crumple zone. You are the crumple zone. You become the crumple. There's your V12 right there.
And you know what? And that's actually a big engine.
It's a 4-liter motor. It's not a big engine by American standards. You know, when you go to Europe and you say a 289 Mustang, they call that a big block. You know, whereas to us it's a small block. But 4 liters was big by European standards. 2 valve per cylinder, 375 horsepower. The engine oil and the transmission oil is shared. They're the same. So consequently, your oil gets chewed up fairly quickly. So you want to change your oil fairly regularly. They made the Miura SV, which had a separate sump and a separate transmission for the oil.
These also have, they open up the front too, right?
Yeah, the front
very
opens up
funky.
as well. And your battery and everything else is under here.
Yeah, and when fully opened up, this car just looks totally bizarre.
Yeah, you know, it's why I consider the 60s the last pure design era. Because after 1966, and certainly after 71 or 72, you had safety bumpers, you had to have headlight height requirements. This is when you could build whatever you wanted.
Whatever looked really, really
right.
good.
This car has absolutely no crash protection. There's no bumpers. There's no nothing. But it's just pure design.
Yeah.
And that's why I think many people consider it one of the most beautiful cars of all time, because its only purpose is to look stunning. It's not safe. It's not whatever.
But it does that really well. It looks stunning really well.
You know, at over 130 or over 135 miles an hour, the front end lifts a little bit because it's not particularly aerodynamic. You can almost feel the wheel get light on you. So, you know, a few of those things. But this is the old school way of building cars. It's just the way they did it. And this car was about $22,000 in 1969, which was equal to a Rolls Royce, or maybe a little bit more in some cases.
So it was a pricey machine.
Yeah, they were expensive.
And they're expensive to maintain and work on too.
Yeah, don't forget a Corvette was about $4,000, $4,500.
Oh, so
this was five times the price.
5 Corvettes.
Yeah, exactly. But well worth it. Lamborghini built high-performance road cars. They never entered racing officially, and that was always his thing, to build a sophisticated road car. And don't forget, when Ferrari was still twin-cam, 2-valve, this is a four-cammer. And, you know, everything is handmade, nicely done. Yeah, they're really wonderful cars. Just wonderful handmade Italian cars.
And great handling, great.
And again, wonderful handmade Italian electrics. That's pretty stock. That's the way it came. If you did that in a modern car, I mean, my God, you wouldn't get out the door. But that's just the way they did it, because who cares about the light?
Yeah,
who cares about the brake light? You go so fast.
Just to go so fast, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the idea behind it. Knock off wheels, which are illegal now. You know, all this stuff.
And you know, in a very, again, just a really Italian-looking interior. I mean,
very Italian-looking interior. You know.
A 4-speed, 5-speed?
5-speed
transmission.
Yeah, 5-speed. Yeah.
Just, you know, I like the grab bar there on the other side. Is
yeah,
that
you know, just all these little touches.
Get in, sit down, shut up, hold on type.
Yeah, let's take it for a ride.
I like your thinking. Let's do it.
Stay close. We'll fire up the Lambo and have a little fun.
My Classic Car has been brought to you by Grundy Insurance and by U-Coat It, the official floor coating of the Autogeek Garage.
It's got to look sleek on the road. Must turn heads everywhere.
Oh yeah, you don't see this kind of look.
And you really, I mean, you're right. I mean, with the regulations now, you really couldn't do this car now.
You can't even build the Ford GT anymore. I just see a lot of theatrics involved with these. I think it's a much prettier car than the Countach.
Yeah, that's such an angular car.
Yeah.
This has got some flowing
I always
lines.
tell people, you want to pick up girls, take the Miura. Trying to pick up 12-year-old boys, take the Countach. You know, because they're the ones that go crazy with the
To each
Countach.
their own, you know.
Not me. Maybe your own, Dennis. Not me. Thank you.
My God.
See how tiny this thing is.
Man, you can have too much fun in this car.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And you use this as a daily driver for a while?
Well, I did for a long time.
Wow.
I mean, I use it to go to work and stuff now. I mean, it's not a show car, as you can see. It's soda cans under the seat and all that, you know.
McDonald's wrappers.
Yeah, it's true. Very light steering.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like the Tatra, all the weight's in the back. To me, everything finds between 40 and 120.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage with Jay and his Miura. Happy motoring.
Attention, My Classic Car fans. Go online now to check out our latest selection of DVDs. Order the Jay Leno Ultimate Collection Volumes 1 and 2. Join Dennis as he takes you inside Jay's garage for a look at some of the coolest machines you'll ever see.